Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Pirowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news. And Craig, I say this with all genuine heart. Guess what day it is? Because I don't have a clue.
It is a true guess for me.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
Throw punch Thursday, bitch.
It's Throw Punch Thursday.
I'll take that. I'll take Thursday. All right, I'll take Thursday. Okay.
It is Thursday. I am here, as you can see, in a remote location with my folks over at the Sacramento Observer, hanging out, doing my thing, putting some work in for them. Like I said, we have a gubernatorial forum coming up on Monday, and we're just setting up the live feed, getting everything set up and taken care of. So, as you can tell, I have not been successful in beginning my weekend.
Well, at least you're not in the holding room behind you there.
At least I'm not in the holding room. Well, we've dressed the place up a little bit more, so it doesn't look like
Yeah, there's a
holding
plant
room.
in there now. It won't make you feel so bad when you're in the holding cell.
No, it will not make me feel so bad when I am in the holding cell. But
There you go.
plenty of fresh oxygen or CO2. There you go. Plenty of fresh CO2.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen,
We'll give it the
it's a fake
CO2.
plant.
I get the oxygen. It's a fake plant.
It's a fake plant, but it'll make you feel good. So
Isn't it all about feelings?
it's always about the feelings.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings.
Got me right in the feels, man.
Got you right in the feels. How's your Thursday going thus far?
Good. Worked like the first 13 or 14 hours of it, starting at midnight, and had a little nap and ready to go now. Ready to start the second part. So
Well, I'm putting in the work with the man. So
there you go.
I am probably not going to begin my weekend until officially Friday, like on Friday, which I know is like not the way I planned it.
No, but just have to live like a regular person. Start your weekend on Friday.
I know, but who wants to live like regular people?
Regular people suck. So
They do.
yeah.
At least that's my story, and I am sticking to it.
Yep.
Tell you what,
Yep.
let's speaking of stories, let's get into today's stories. But before we do, let's do like we usually do and start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Go on over there, get yourself some AR barrels. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. You got the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, medical, fire, security, EMS, Cub Scout, Boy Scout. They got it all. Get your group together, get your agency together. Place an order at uscombatgear.com where you get everything except the gun.
And also want to remind you, we've got an event coming up next Saturday, a week from the day after tomorrow. So it's going to be the 9th annual 2A Freedom Fest. It's going to take place at Runaway Campers at Summerfield, Florida. That's where it's going to take place in the Gunshine State. We're going to be having a good time. We're going to be having speakers coming from all over the country. We're going to be camping Friday and Saturday night. So if you want to not just hear from them, but you want to hang out with us, come on out and camp. It's only $55 to camp both nights. You're going to have folks from the firearms firm, Mr. David Katz and James Phillips from there in Florida. You're going to have Jariah, the founder, director, and CEO of Clearing the Chamber. You're going to have Patrick Collins from the Gun Food, Amanda Suffolk from Eye on the Target Radio, Eric Friday from Florida Carry, our good friend Mr. Tom Knighton from Bearing Arms, and who is that handsome devil right there? That would be none other than Mikey P, our own Mike Piwowarski from Arms Room Radio and The Rundown. Tony Simon, Willis Lee, Anthony Caldonado, the Keith Davis, and the 2A dad of the 2A boys. Folks, it is going to be a phenomenal event. If you are in Florida, if you can be in Florida, you're not going to want to miss this event. Please make sure, come on out, hang out with us, and have a good time.
Yeah, remember that $55 only if you're camping. That's the camping setup fee. Otherwise, it's a free event for everybody.
Yes.
In fact, I talked to old Kevin Sona there, the organizer today. He's got them last week jitters going on right now. What can I do? What should I be doing? What should I be doing? So he's trying to get everything and improve it down to the wire for you.
Now, by the way, folks, this is also an event. It's kind of a fundraiser in that it's a canned food drive. And so if you got some canned foods, if you want to buy some canned foods, you want to bring it out, something to help benefit the less needy there in Florida, because they're Florida, so Florida man can be a little less needy.
Well, they need the canned goods for their pet alligator. So
there you go. They got to feed the gators. Got to have some gator food.
Gators like lima beans too.
Yes, they do. Well, I guess I wouldn't know if they really did. I don't know that I want to find that one out.
Oh, you will. You will.
I will. Okay. All right. Also want to remind you, if you're watching the program, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, guess what? You are watching us live. And if you're watching us live, we would love to hear from you. We would love for you to give us a shout out like American Crossfire just did, saying hello. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know what you think about the program. Let us know what you think about the particular topic that we're talking about. We would love to hear from you, even if you disagree with us. And we don't mind if you disagree with us. That's okay, because if you disagree with us, it gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
So, Mike, you made an interesting point, and I think I'm going to have to want to do this. We're going to have to try and find a mockingbird for me to take a picture with while I'm there.
Won't be a problem. State bird of Florida. Everywhere. They're everywhere.
We will definitely have to find us a mockingbird for that trip.
Yep.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get into today's topics. And it might help if I actually had everything set up properly. There we go. All right, so the first topic today is going to be it's an interesting one for me as a school board member. I have to tell you, here in Sacramento, you might recall that I think it was last Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday before last. Anyway, there was a big walkout across the country, teachers, schools, at least here in California. Let me put it that way. I know for a fact it happened here in California, where teachers and schools actually went out and they did a big protest. The students did a protest in honor of anti-ICE, right? The interesting thing about this protest, though, is that, it was that you had a bunch of teachers and you had unions who were organizing. Principals, teachers, and unions were actually in the process of part of organizing these particular events. And here are some videos from some of the events to give you an idea, a flavor of what was going on. That was a little hard to hear. I'll turn that one all the way up. You see all these students out there rebel rousing with their Mexican flags. They're not even smart enough to know what country they're in, because why don't they have the American flag? But that's a whole nother story. All right, here's another one.
We were all up here watching this. We're here.
Where were you?
We were all up
You
here.
didn't protest me, though. If you saw that, why did you not protest me?
Ma'am, I did not see that. I did not see that.
I was
Okay.
getting accosted.
We heard that. That's why we were coming.
Ask me why. Ask me why they were in the school. And everyone just said,
So me and Sasha walked up, and Sasha, we had our cameras out because we were kind of in disbelief that there was even a protest. We're like, wow, there's a protest, because I cover stuff like that, right? All the time. It's not what we were here for, but we were just in disbelief. And so we were walking down the sidewalk, and she nicely just said, wow, these are kids, and they all started chanting. And she said, why aren't you in school? And they surrounded her, and that happened.
I'm not in school. And then they jumped me. What is going on?
Guys, she's okay. She's okay. Go back over there, please. Thank you. Go back over there. Unfortunately, we were trying to deal with all the masses.
So right now, if I were to go and walk, I would not be safe. I would not be safe if I did that for no reason.
I understand that. We are here to make sure that doesn't happen anymore.
But how?
Well, because we are here.
They're all gonna do it. No one's stopping me. I cannot safely walk over here now.
We will make sure. Yes, we can. We will make sure this happens. You're gonna get them out of here. Okay, we're.
I'm sorry, they kept pulling you all around. I couldn't even keep track of you. I didn't want to accidentally grab one of them thinking they were you and pull on a teenager.
What does the one look like?
Oh, I can point him out. I'll walk over there.
We're gonna have to do this strategically and tactically
Yeah.
because it's gonna cause. We're gonna be out because we're gonna be outnumbered. We can't if we can't get everybody hurt here. We're
Yeah,
gonna
for
arrest
sure.
them. I promise them.
For
we're
sure.
gonna make sure that happens. But we have to do this safely. What is?
So these are all examples of protests that took place across the country. And once again, you saw examples of basically people being attacked. And I have one example right here. A friend of mine right here in Sacramento sent me video that I played on the program of them walking by, cussing at people. They literally cussed at my friend because they dared to have an American flag flying in their front yard. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that, and there were teachers walking with them, principals walking with them. In fact, the school police department was driving with them with the lights on and everything. Anyway, here's a piece from over at Breitbart. It says teachers and school administrators across the country continue to lead children out of classrooms and off school grounds into often violent, prone, and dangerous left-wing protests against immigration and customs enforcement. On the West Coast, for instance, teachers at Issaquah High School in Issaquah, Washington, helped students begin an anti-ICE protest, which soon exploded in violence as they began beating up a mother this week. After the violent confrontation, school principal Aaron Connolly dismissed the incident by admitting that there was violence, but waving it all off because there was, quote, no serious injuries. Connolly also did not condemn the violence and even reiterated that the students have a right to protest. Teachers led Issaquah's middle school kids in a protest at that same day. The protests too involved into violence and property destruction. Other reports from that the UTLA had been caught planning ICE resistance and using kids as their pawns in pushing political agenda. According to the report at Defending Education, the UTLA has passed around planning documents and materials that advocate for the use of school resources as a form of resistance against ICE and is urging teachers to begin, quote, engaging students in community self-defense by offering service learning hours in school. So in other words, they want to offer them hours, they want to offer them volunteer hours or academic credit for participating in what's likely to be a riot. Because that's what most all of these protests eventually devolve into, is they devolve into riots. And so, in other words, you're taking kids, in some cases, like in the case of the school down the street, it's a closed campus, meaning kids aren't allowed to leave campus. You literally have them letting kids leave campus with absolutely no consequences. Once they leave, if something happens to them, the school district, let me clarify, the taxpayers are now liable for what happens to those kids.
Yeah, of course, right? Because that would make sense, that you're going to let the kids skip school, you're going to let the kids do crimes, and then you're going to financially be responsible for it as well. It's ridiculous. They're skipping school still whether it's a civil infraction or a crime in your state, you're not allowed to do that. You got the teachers encouraging that. This is just these are idiots that are following bad politics. It's really what it is. We did not have this problem in the state of Florida. I think we had one or two schools try this, and the governor reached out to them ahead of time and said, "I hope you like your position there because it'll be the last day." Just make sure that these kids stay in school.
Well, that's the way it should be, because what you're doing is you're promoting truancy. Not only are
Yep.
you promoting truancy, you're not even really, first of all, you're picking a side in a political debate. And by the way, you happen to be picking a side against those who are doing nothing more than enforcing law passed by Congress, signed into law by the President of the United States. What makes you think that that is appropriate at all? If you want to have a discussion about it, why not promote a discussion? Why not have a forum where you have people talk about, well, what is ICE? What do they do? Because I bet you 9 times out of 10, if you ask these kids, they can't tell you what ICE stands for, let alone what it is or what they do. You couldn't tell them what they're doing. You couldn't get them to tell you, well, why exactly is it legally wrong? Right? What's the legal premise behind it? And then why is it morally wrong? Right?
Yeah.
And then have folks be able to then articulate the other side. So at the very least, you're having a full-blown discussion. If you want to promote involvement and civic engagement, then let's actually discuss the issue from all sides.
Yeah, and listen, using high school kids and stuff like that, or middle school kids as well. You think you said it's no purpose. It's grandstanding. That's all it is. It's kind of like when Obama put kids on stage when he was signing gun legislation. I mean, it was nothing but for the show. I could get almost, Greg, I could understand if college students were to protest. They're paying to be there. They're of voting age. They're adults. In this group here, what do you got? Less than 5% are voting age. Of the students and the adults. It's just grandstanding.
And by the way,
you tell kids you get to skip school and go outside and throw trash at people. Of course they're going to do it.
Look, and by the way, most of them can't read, write, or do math at grade level.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we were talking.
I'm like,
how
about this? How about if you want to go protest? How about you get good at the stuff you're there for? Then once you show that you're good at the stuff that you're there for, then you can get to go out and, rebel rouse and all that fun stuff.
There you go. There's your new rule. Everybody on the honor roll gets to take part in the protests.
There you go. I don't have a problem with that, and I don't know who would. I don't know who should have a problem with that. Yeah. Doesn't mean that they won't, but folks be like they be like.
There's your dichotomy there, right? Your kids on the honor roll, they don't want to skip school. They want to stay there and get better grades.
Exactly. Exactamundo. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. So next up we have now. By the way, these very same schools have some of the worst performing. Some of the worst performing schools in the entire country, right? But not only do they have some of the worst performing schools in the entire country, they are also all currently in the process, and many of them, of preparing to go out on strike. This report from The Guardian says California faces teacher strikes across the state for better pay and work conditions. Action could begin next week in some of the state's largest districts, including San Diego, San Francisco, and LA, and by the way, also Sacramento. It says here, California is facing the prospect of massive teacher strikes across the state as conflicts over working conditions, pay, and special education staffing reach a boiling point. The strikes, which could begin as soon as next week, have been approved by thousands of educators, affecting schools in some of the state's largest districts, including San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, and I don't know why they don't say Sacramento, but Sacramento. It says here, in San Francisco, 97.6% of teachers voted in favor of a strike, setting the stage for the first such action in the city in nearly 50 years. Teachers in Los Angeles, where the LA Unified School District is considering layoffs to address its budget woes, authorized their union to move ahead with a strike. Meanwhile, San Diego educators are preparing for their first walkout in 30 years, while 5 unions around Sacramento have said they are ready to strike if necessary. Now, I decided to go and I was looking up some numbers to figure out, okay, well, what are teachers making in California? I mean, what's the big dealio here? Well, in the state of California, first of all, understand that we have an average, teachers on average in California make over $100,000 a year. All right, that's on average in California. And these are some of the districts right now that are considering, these are all districts that have voted for strikes. There's 9 of them. You have LA Unified, the largest district, I believe, in the country, but at the very least in the state of California. Over 500,000 students, they make an average of $90,000 a year. San Diego, $104,000 a year. San Francisco, $97,500 a year. Alameda, or this is Oakland Unified, 85,000. They are, by the way, I think they're still in receivership or just got out of receivership. Sacramento, Twin Rivers, 95,000. I was just at their meeting last night, and they're ready to go on strike. Sacramento City, Natomas Unified, 87,000. San Bernardino, 93. Alameda, 113. Do they not have? Oh, they don't have Sacramento Unified on here. Okay, I guess Sacramento Unified is not included, but their teachers make on average over around $100,000 a year. And then, by the way, there are 12 other districts that are right now in what's called impasse or fact finding, which means that they have not been able to settle. They have not been able to come to an agreement on what they're going to pay. And so now they've run out of that. The state of California right now is watching most of their taxpayers, which are, by the way, high-income earners, leave the state. And we're looking at a $28 billion structural deficit. And yet you have the teachers who want more money. And by the way, not little bits, but we're talking like a 10%, 20%, 15% raises is what they're asking. And, oh, by the way, all of their medical to be paid.
Craig, let me ask you a technical question here. If I refuse to come back to work, isn't that a walkout?
Yes.
Okay. So when they say first walkout in 50 years, they're not counting the COVID years where these teachers refuse to come back to work?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay. Okay. So because we're starting off the story with a lie. Just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Right.
You know, teachers have been making a living wage for the past 20, 30 years, Craig. You know, there was definitely a time when you and I were students where teachers were not making a lot of money, and it was a very slow to catch up to the norm. You just proved right there with the data. God forbid, Craig, you provide the data that these teachers are making more than most everybody in their districts. You know, more than the middle class was making there. You know, when do we spread that information that these teachers are making more money than everybody else, and they want more money to do less work? Because that's what this comes down to for them. Because, oh my God, they have the children and they got to buy $12 worth of books or pencils to supply their class with. You're making $113,000 a year. Okay? You could everybody brings in, you know, their own you know, office supplies occasionally, same as you. So get over it.
Right. Well, and also keep in mind, at that salary, they only work 9 months out of the year. They get every holiday off. And after 2 years, they're basically guaranteed a job because of tenure, California's tenure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And making those salaries. Now, I wish I could make that kind of money only working 9 months.
Yeah.
I guess I could if I were a teacher, huh?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's just.
And, by the way, I don't have to be good at my job. That's the other thing.
Definitely not.
I will not be judged based on whether or not kids are actually learning.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Yep.
That's pretty much how it works. In fact, Patrick from the Gun Food just chimed in. He says the highest paid public employee in the state of Alabama was technically a teacher. Yeah, you're 100% right. I do not doubt that one bit, my friend.
I would be curious. I want to like to see what that is, because when you start talking about teachers making money, and technically teachers, the coaches at football colleges come under that, and they are typically the highest paid state employees, by the way.
Yeah, well, and supposedly they are that way because they bring in the big bucks. And
look, I get it. Listen, you know, look, what do you pay the guy that brings in $20 million a year? $5 million. I don't care. That's fine. Yeah, that's
got to pay him something commensurate with what he is in fact bringing in. I mean, it's not rocket science to figure out that you gotta, you know, kind of, I don't know, pay folks.
Yeah, but willing to bet even beyond those college coaches, you know, that he's probably right. It's a teacher that's making the most money in the state there.
Yeah. It is what it is, my friend. I don't know what to say about these folks. I honestly sometimes have absolutely no idea what to say, but they be who they be, I guess.
Yep.
All right. Moving right along. The next story, Canada's gun code. So have you, Mike, have you been following the story of the shooting that took place out there up in Canada? Have you been following that at all?
A little bit.
In Canada. Well, so obviously there was a shooting that took place, And it appears that well, first of all, one would think that there wouldn't be any problem with shootings in Canada because, well, gun control supposedly is supposed to stop all that. But evidently it didn't work in this particular case. It does not appear to have worked for them. And I'm sorry, I'm like doing something behind the scenes, trying to get some stuff set up here while I'm talking.
Craig, yeah.
But
What I'll say, Craig, what I know about shootings in Canada is that last year I looked at the numbers. There was only something like, because of all the gun control, only something like 7 shootings in Canada. Also, though, they had like 47,000 hunting accidents, though.
47,000 hunting accidents. Wow. Okay. Well, there was a shooting that took place at a high school. And it was interesting because when they decided to cover it, the Associated Press referred to the guy as a gun person, the shooter as a gun person. And immediately, as soon as you heard that it was a gun person, what did you think, Mike?
Well, Craig, I prefer person of gun. First of all, I don't like to be called a gun person. But they're trying to make him out to be some right wing whack job.
Right. The whole goal of this thing was they didn't want anyone to know anything about this particular person. But anyway, let's start off. First of all, I want to go to the story that was covered over at Breitbart, where basically, they have really, really strict gun laws there in Canada, and it appears that, it didn't work. Breitbart reporting Canada's stringent gun control did not prevent high school shooting. Canada's stringent gun controls, including a freeze on purchase of handguns, did not prevent Tuesday's heinous mass shooting at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. Moreover, the male alleged shooter, who was transitioning to female, used a gun despite the freeze on handgun sales and transfers. According to The Guardian, police indicated the alleged shooter used a handgun and a long rifle, the type of long gun that has yet to be made public by police. But the Associated Press noted the Canadian government had banned more than 2,500 makes and models of assault-style rifles in recent years. The ban includes more than 1,500 models of firearms then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made illegal on May 1st, 2020. So anyway, the point once again, Mike, that I'm making here is, and I think you and I have acknowledged this more than once, gun control has never been effective. It's never been effective in terms of reducing or stopping violence involving firearms. In fact, it's actually done nothing more than invite people to be engaged, to use those areas like a school as a soft target.
Bondi Beach, Australia, Craig. Australia had massive, gun buybacks, gun seizures, 30 years ago. It was supposed to solve the problem, and all it did was create a crowd of people that were unable to defend themselves, and another mass shooting occurs in Australia. So their answer to that is, let's take what's rest of the guns. I know we were only going to take the evil black assault rifles last time, but now we're taking everything because these two used, bolt action style rifles. So now we have to take everything. We have to take Grandpa's rifle now and Grandpa's shotguns, because we evidently left you with military style sniper rifles and trench clearing guns. So we have to take those from you also. Never going to work. They want to take your guns. Get over it, folks. If you don't realize the ultimate goal is to take all guns from you, then you're a fool.
Yeah, or you agree with it.
Yeah.
Or
well,
you
you're
agree
a fool
with
if
it.
you think it's going to work. That's
Right.
all there is to it. You're a fool if you think it's going to work.
It's never worked. And once again, I always say this, the people who pass gun control laws are people who don't like firearms. They don't like people who like firearms. And they're not interested in understanding the right. And that's the problem. People are not willing to defend a right that they are not willing to exercise. So people don't care about the right to vote if they never vote. People don't care about the right to free speech if they never speak out. People don't care about the right to keep and bear arms unless they decide to exercise the right to keep and bear arms. And of all of our fundamental rights that just we can exercise just flat out, the one people are least likely to exercise is the right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right, and it's just willful ignorance. That's about all it is.
Yeah, and by the way, because you decide you've chosen not willfully, you've chosen not to exercise it, doesn't mean that you get the right to take mine.
That's right.
That's the cool thing about rights. You may choose not to vote, doesn't mean you get to take my vote.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Anyway, the other part of this whole thing has to do with how the media is basically covering up the actual identity of the shooter, or at least not willing to talk about it. And I want to use as an I want to point out. So, for example, this is the AP. This is what the AP wrote. Suspect in Canada shooting is identified as 18-year-old with a history of police visits to her home. This is out of British Columbia. It says the suspect in a shooting in Canada was 18-year-old who had a history of police visits to her home to check on her mental health. Authorities said Wednesday, a day after the attack that killed 8 people in a remote part of British Columbia. Police said Jess Van Rutselaar was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted wound following the assault on a school in the small mountain community of Tumbler Ridge. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Deputy Commissioner Dwayne McDonald said Van Rutselaar first killed her mother and stepbrother in a family home before the attack at the nearby school. She had a history of mental health contacts with police, they said. The motive is unclear. Police initially said 9 people were killed Tuesday, but McDonald clarified Wednesday that there were 8 fatalities. McDonald said the discrepancy arose from a victim who was airlifted to the medical center. Authorities mistakenly thought the person died. More than 25 people were wounded. Now, though, that's not all that we know. What else do we know? Now, this is what WION, so this is not necessarily the mainstream media, but it says who was Jesse Strang, alleged transgender suspect in Canada's mass shooting. Here's what it claims. And basically, the problem is that this is an individual who is a teenager, was male, transitioning to female, and had issues. And their issues were largely that, well, no one was going along with it. We'll just put it that way. And the problem is that why do they feel this need? Why does the media feel this need to cover this stuff up? Why do they feel the need to not recognize the obvious?
Because that's the agenda. They've got their playbook, and they've got to run the plays in the playbook if they want to win.
Yeah, I'm like, if their numbers, and it was funny because I was reading an article over at the Trace where they're making the claim that, well, no, people who are transgender are not more likely to engage in mass shootings. Well, the problem is depends on your definition of mass shootings, and it also depends on if you're going to pull out. If you're gonna pull out those who are involved in gangs and drugs, because if it's 4 or more people shot, and it involves gangs or drugs, which, by the way, many of the instances that do involve gangs or drugs don't get counted. I would love to also see them include the number of maybe let's just say school and church shootings. How many of them? What percentage of them involve transgender shooters?
Yeah, most right now. That's what you see.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, Mike. I do not believe it is because they are transgender. I believe it is because they're dealing with mental illness, right? And we have a society now that has said to many people who are dealing with emotional issues, depression, suicide ideation, yada, 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 they've convinced them that, hey, it's because you're transgender. And I think in some of the cases, the reason why we're seeing the increase in these instances is because when them becoming transgender doesn't work, then they figure, well, now what? That's what I think it is. I don't think it's the transgenderism that's making them do it. I think it's that they've already got issues in their head, and supposedly transgenderism was supposed to fix it, and it didn't.
Yeah. Listen, it's a pretty key indicator when they say it's a trans person that committed these crimes. Listen, if you see a trans person that goes out and commits a mass shooting, that's a mental health problem, mental illness problem. Now, are we saying that all trans people, all trans adults have mental illnesses? Absolutely not. Not what we're saying. But it's one of those indicators, Craig. It's kind of like if you're swerving down the road, you might be intoxicated, right? Also, might have been just playing with your phone. But we got to get to the root of the problem and figure out what the cause is.
Right. Well, exactly. I'm just, if you're not taking this as an indicator in particular, I mean, I'm like, if you're dealing with someone who is, once again, trans, but is also dealing with some of these, a lot of these other issues, don't be, it just bothers me because they're so quick to say it's because they're trans. No, I'm like, these are people with mental health issues, right?
Yeah.
There are people with mental health issues that are engaging in these activities. And you just need to, I don't know, it bothers me that the media, that the entities that impact and shape public opinion and thought, whether it be academia, policymakers, or the mainstream media or entertainment, refuse to deal in reality.
No, but that's because that's not where they're funded, right? It's the liberal playbook. Right. It's the anti-gun playbook, and they're all in the big media is all in the pockets of those organizations. So that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. You know, you got to look for that 10% outlet that provides you with the actual information. Stuff like what we're doing. You know, stuff that you see at New York Post, you know, or BBC. You know, those kind of organizations. You've got to go find the real information rather than just listen to what they're coming out of their playbook.
And by the way, don't just believe us. You have the ability to go to the same sources we're going to. You have the ability to look it up yourself, right? Never take my word for it. I don't take my pastor's word for stuff. When my pastor preaches, I write down the script. I write down what he says. I write down the scriptures he says, and I go look at and study to show myself approved. Because I'm the one responsible for what I do with the knowledge that I have. And if I'm given faulty knowledge, I'm still the one that's held responsible for what I do with the knowledge that I have.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Yep. Be responsible. You know,
be responsible.
Check your facts.
Take some time. Oh, and by the way, please don't just go listen to some rando on YouTube. Oh, wait, that's us.
Yeah.
Don't just listen to me. I'm not saying I'm not saying don't listen to us. I'm just saying don't just listen to us.
There you go. Yep.
Oh, and that covered the last aspect of what we were going to be talking about. So that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, and get your Hog holster today. All right, I got 3 videos that I'm gonna play for you today, and they're all kind of interesting. This first one, I believe this individual is supposed to be our good friend. Well, I don't know about our good friend, but a person who I admire very, very much. I think it's supposed to be a common sense moment by Thomas Sowell, and I love the way they push this. They put this pushed in this little cartoon thingy.
How may I be of economic assistance?
Well, Emily's been practicing for ages for a pie competition, but then they changed the rules to favor disadvantaged kids instead of actually good bakers, and now the winning pie tastes like yes!
Well, it sounds like everyone involved in this pie contest is suffering from equity going wrong.
Equity? That sounds like a good thing, like equality.
They are similar, but with important differences. Equality means making sure everyone has an equal opportunity.
Oh, like an equal opportunity to enter the competition?
Precisely. But to be equal, the contest would also need to judge everyone by the same standards.
Okay, but how is it equal if someone like our friend Charlotte hasn't had the chance to learn how to bake?
That's where equity tries to help. Equity means trying to give everyone the same chance at an equal outcome by making up for unfair life circumstances.
The idea is to give people the help they need to do their best and succeed.
But in their desire to make things fair, some people rig the rules. And they lower standards, all in order to force an equal outcome. And in the end, everyone, including your underprivileged friend, loses.
But Charlotte won the competition.
Sure, she may have won the competition, but what was the point of the contest?
To see who could bake the best pie. The winner gets to compete at the state fair.
Oh, and so the audience could try the best pie too.
So think about it. Because the bar was lowered to let her win, Charlotte didn't become a better baker. The more skilled bakers weren't rewarded for their skills, and the audience has to eat a worse pie.
Oh, yeah. I guess everyone did lose.
If forcing equity is how we choose, we all lose.
So it was forcing equity that made things unfair?
Exactly. Think about what equality and equity actually mean. Fairness, justice. So is it really equity if the rules are unfair?
So that was the Tuttle twins over at Angel Network. You know, I know all of us probably already have our fair share of streaming services that we subscribe to, but Angel Network is putting out some good pro-family positive stuff. So I thought y'all might enjoy that one.
Yeah, lots of good movies and original movies over there as well too.
Yes, lots of good stuff. And it might help, undo some of the stuff that we're seeing from our Gen Z folks. Just so you know, well, let's just put it this way: Gen Z, they need some therapy, and they probably could use some therapy from some good Gen Xers.
That's why yellow makes me sad, I think.
That's interesting. You know what makes me sad? You do! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land, where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon! Tissue? Right, baby.
Because that's the sort of therapy they get from boomers. What'd you say?
Yeah. Best part of that's when he throws the box at him. Tissue?
Jackwagon. Okay, I'm going to incorporate that in an insult at some point today. I'm going to call someone a jackwagon.
Oh, what's one of my everyday words? Jackwagon. Yeah.
And then finally, okay, not exactly positive, family friendly, but hilarious nonetheless. Well, let's just say that if there was ever an opportunity to challenge the two-party system, this particular candidate might have a shot at it.
North Carolina shows Donald Trump leading Hillary Clinton in a possible presidential matchup, but that's not the part that's grabbing people's attention today. It is the third-party candidate on that poll, a candidate named D's Nuts.
Oh, no.
Really? A candidate registered as an independent from Iowa has the legal name of D's Nuts.
No.
Public policy polling showed him pulling 9% of the vote in North Carolina.
Now, in California, that percentage would be higher, right?
Yeah, listen, pretty sure I went to school with that guy.
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I remember because we actually reported on that. We actually played that video back then. It was,
yep.
No, we didn't. No, because we hadn't done the show yet. That was when I was doing Coffee with Craig. That was when I did that one.
Yep. Yep. Just to be clear, we're talking about candidate D's Nuts.
D's Nuts. All right, folks. So that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to do one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, get on over to Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. They got those AR barrels for you, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length. They've also got barrels for all kinds of rifles, all kinds of shotguns, and all kinds of pistols, whatever you may need at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together. Place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
And that's going to be it for today's program. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Free for All Friday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and once again, we will see y'all mañana.